Hi everybody and welcome to Perth, Western Australia. So this is my hometown where I grew up and it's an absolute pleasure to be back here. So not only to get some more vitamin D, well needed, but also to be here and to play all these wonderful guitars by Altamira. And this is a very special guitar and it's really looking forward to introducing all of these to you. So the piece I just played is called Forgotten by Sidney Pratten. And it's just a stunning little piece of just a really incredible melody that's repeated a few times. And what I find is really great about this piece is the way that you can sort of experiment with how to play this melody. So every time you want to do it, maybe just a slight difference, a little bit of a tone color change, a little bit of a mix with the rubato or something, but it's a very dramatic piece. It's a short one but dramatic, and it's a great opportunity to practice also your vibrato in this piece. And this guitar really makes it shine. I think you can get a really great sound with that. So this is the Lacote model from the Hanson workshop, and yeah, really fantastic craftsmanship, I think, with this instrument. And it's really authentic, and it has even the sort of original tuning pegs that they would have used back in the day. And it really works well with this piece. I enjoy very much when I'm playing this main melody, you know, it's quite a sort of a delicate but also just really responsive sound. You can really make that melody sing. Yeah, definitely. And the way that I phrase melodies, I'm probably going to mention this a lot during this time, is all about how you can make it sing. So it's like just the natural way of how you would phrase this line if you were a singer. And you want to be a little bit playful with it, but you can also hear where the breaths are. So that's like one level, and then we're stepping up on the ladder. So it's a little bit louder maybe. Like da da da, da, you know, it's just the next step then, and then you have that breath, and then you play the next phrase. You see, there's the three different levels there, and it's sort of like it's very much like a conversation. So we're making a statement. Da 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 da. Wait, saying it again, and then saying it again. And so on. Yeah, so it's really important to, with your pieces, see if you can create a conversation out of the lines and how you can interpret that conversation in a way of communicating what the phrase or the idea or the story is. That's what I love to do. And this guitar really helps me do that. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful Australian piece that was written for me by Richard Charlton. And the piece Beneath a River of Stars. I mean, Richard Charlton, he's from Sidney, so the other side of the country from where we are now. But this piece really encompasses an experience that goes across the whole of the country. So when you go out of the city, not even, sometimes also in the city, but the night sky is just absolutely lit up with the most amazing river of stars. And I have a lot of wonderful memories in my childhood going to the south of Perth, down towards like Margaret River area, and it just stunning. It was always just such a magical experience to look up into the sky and see that beautiful Milky Way. So this piece is inspired by a trip that Richard Charlton took right to the middle of Australia to Uluru, and he was there, and it was a very dark night, and then suddenly lit up with all of these beautiful stars and this really wonderful constellations. I hope you enjoyed this piece and could see those stars. So this guitar is the Orfeo model, and it has Madagascan rosewood on the back and the sides of it. What I really love about this instrument is how rich these basses are. So it's really fantastic for this piece, Beneath a River of Stars, because you need that sort of, those really deep basses to then spring off. You're really sort of creating this sort of swell, and this guitar is really, it's really articulate, and I think you can really get those sounds very well out of it. And when we're playing a piece like this, the flow is very important, and you know, sometimes I think we forget. We are writing a lot of fingerings for the left hand, and then sometimes you come to places and they just don't really work, or they never work or anything. And this happened to me. There was a couple of bars here, and it just kept messing up, no matter how much I practiced it. And then I thought, you know, wait, I got to make sure that I write out my right hand fingerings, be very specific with exactly what I want to do. So never forget about that side of things. And so there's this bit. It's sort of an interesting combination there that I'm doing on A, M, I, M, A, and making sure that you are crossing the strings correctly. So you always want to make sure that your I finger is not crossing over above to a higher string. So just to watch out for these sorts of things. And make sure you're not doubling up. And then that was another bit that I needed to work out. So I just wanted to make that quick little point about making sure that If you realize something is not really working, maybe it's the right hand. Maybe it's the right hand, not about the speed, not about what your left hand fingers are doing, that maybe that there's something else that's tripping you up, and try to figure out what that is. And then also with this piece, that's really great is to make sure that you really encompass and promote the different atmospheres that each of these sections are making. So this first section is really, this is like very grand. This is like you're in awe. You think about, oh wow, there are the stars. Like, oh my goodness, what have we got here? And we want to try to bring that into the music. So we do that with the fullness that you can create from this guitar, as well as giving it space, so using the time as well. And don't rush. And then sort of like, okay, we wrapped up that intro, now we're gonna go, and then we get the river, you know, the river of stars. You're sort of thinking about someone like dancing across the stars. Like, I really love playing Australian music because it is so much involved with like the visuals. It's about, you know, the scene of the stars or the landscapes or all the weird, funny, dangerous animals that we have here. There's always something very visual. That's why I like to show the music in my concerts as well on my iPad, a few pictures and whatnot. But, you know, bring that then into the music. How can we grab those ideas and those imagery and put it into the music? And then so now we've got this adagio cantabile, and so we're setting it up. Space. You're thinking about that top line, but you're also creating that space. And this is sort of like a moment of relaxation. We have that intensity going on there, and now this is a different mood and a different atmosphere. And we want to see using time, using tone colors, using just using patience to make sure that you can promote this as much as you can, these different atmospheres that we have here. So that's what I would have a bit of a look at when you're playing Beneath the River of Stars. I really recommend looking at Richard Charlton's music. It's one of my favorite types of music to play in pieces. So hope you enjoyed. These two Caprices are inspired by Blackwattle Bay in the Sydney harbour, so this is the favourite location of the composer Ross Edwards. The first Caprice is a song, and the second one is a dance, and it's a Manha dance. And this dance is inspired by the sounds that insects make when it gets really hot. So maybe not in this particular recording of this piece, but maybe in some of the other pieces you might be able to hear a little bit of a cricket sounding or something. That's exactly what's going on here. That's what I'm trying to emulate. Yeah, so this is a wonderful piece, Something that sort of stuck out to me as a tip on how to watch out when you're playing this piece is that there's sometimes sudden jumps, right? You go from one spot all the way up to here really quickly because you're getting that excitement, getting that energy from that. And so one example is, yeah. So that's a great example of what I just did then. What I didn't do properly was I wasn't concentrating. So you got to really concentrate really well. But also you need to make sure that you look where you're going when you jump. So you make sure that when you go, if you're looking up here, if you're looking at where you were and you jump, sometimes a lot of people do that and they jump without actually getting the eyes to go there first. So you go, then you're looking, oh, where do I go? Oops, the wrong spot. So what we want to make sure we do, instead of going to this note, You're gonna go, you look first, and then you get the note. It seems like a very simple thing, but it's a very specific technique or a way of thinking to make sure that you get this right every time. Because you want to know where you're going before you start going there. So instead of finding it, there it is. No, that's not it. See, exactly. Whoa. You know, you might get the wrong spot. So you want to make sure, look, and then move. So watch out. The next piece I'll play is called Fantasy on the theme of Ukrainian folk song O and the Cherry Orchid. And this is a piece by Rostislav Holubov. This is a beautiful piece called Angelina by Sergio Assad in memory of his mother, who sadly passed away earlier this year. It is such an honor to be able to play this piece for you all, so I hope you enjoy. So this guitar is the N400. It has a solid back and sides, and I'll be playing a wonderful piece, Manha de Carnaval. So this is the theme from the movie Black Orpheus, and it's a bit of an arrangement between Paulo and myself. Hope you enjoy. With this arrangement of Manha de Carnaval, this is from Paulo, and there was like a few different arrangements that I was first looking at, and I couldn't find one that I was like 100% happy with, so I felt like I sort of was doing a bit of a mixture pull. I really love the Paulo one, but I needed something a little bit extra with it. And so, you know, I've basically, you know, at the beginning here, I'm starting through this piece and I just add a few little harmonics here and there, a little bit embellishments here and there, like you would in that type of music. And then I really wanted a groovy middle section. So I was really experimenting. I got the, you know, the chord progressions down from like a jazz piece, and then just went at it basically, just experimenting as much as I can. Wanted to keep that melody nice and clear, but adding a little bit of some sort of percussion, some sort of groove to go with it. And I really love playing this type of music. A lot of South American music I really enjoy because of this type of groove, which means it's very important to keep note of that. Now, this is the great thing about playing this sort of piece arrangement, is that you have this really free melody at the beginning there that you need to keep nice and clear and everything, but then it moves onto this sort of more in time section in the middle, and then returning back to that freedom at the end. And then at the end it's really very, very free. So this is a great way to experiment with, you know, a lot of people forget that musicality is sort of a technical part of playing as well. And that means that you need to practice being musical. And the way that you practice being musical is experimenting, just mucking about with it, see how you can move those lines, make them sing. Always think about singing. I've probably mentioned that 100 times now, but it's really, really important. And then another thing about this piece that's really important is the balance. So the balance of the notes. You want to make sure that that top line is always louder than the bottom line, basically. And you know, there's different ways you can improve on that. Using this piece sort of as a study is definitely one way you can do that. You know, with the... a lot of that melody is with my M finger, so I'm pushing that just a little bit harder. And you can do like an exercise, arpeggio exercise, for example, just really standard, and then practice accenting certain notes or certain combinations. So that means that you're building sort of this finger independence, which is going to translate really well into playing a piece like this. So use a combination always of a piece that's going to help you improve a technique, like balance between the fingers, and also an exercise such as this arpeggio exercise with accents. I really enjoy playing this guitar. I mentioned that the sides and the back are solid wood. Of course, the front is also. And the reason why I really love playing this is that, you know, I feel like it has a lot of clarity in it and a lot of resonance. And this is sort of like an intermediate guitar. And so for an intermediate guitar, it's fantastic. I think it's a really great option to have. There's a lot of warmth there, I think, and responds really well. So a really great option. Now I'll be playing on a guitar, the N100 by Altamira, and it has a solid top, and all Altamira guitars have a solid top, which is really fantastic. A really great instrument, and I'll be playing this piece, Gracias a la Vida by Violeta Parra. So it's a Chilean piece, and I was in Chile for the first time. I was for the first time in South America this year, hence why I learnt this piece, and I had a really fantastic time in Chile, so I really hope you enjoy this piece. So I started the guitar through a school program here in Western Australia. We have this, you do this little test to see if you're musical enough or whatever, and then you can sign up to play an instrument. And you know, they had a school band that played brass and woodwind, and they were really excited for me to join that. But much to their despair, I chose the guitar. Because, you know, I chose the guitar because I played the violin beforehand, and I really wanted something that I thought would be good because there's a bit of a fingerboard action there that I could move along. And I also just thought it was cool. Like, I just thought the guitar would be cool to play. And yeah, so I ended up actually playing in that band, but I was playing the cymbals, and I was a really bad cymbal player because I'd never hit them together at the right time. But yeah, we had these group classes there at school, but I quickly moved to just one-on-one lessons with Murray Bishop, and then from Murray Bishop I learnt with Alan Banks. And Alan Banks was an interesting teacher to have because he sort of introduced me also to a few different sort of musical styles to play on the guitar. So not just classical pieces. We'd play a little bit of Jimi Hendrix at the end, or a bit of 12-bar blues or something. It was a bit of a mixture, which was really nice. Yeah, and that was a nice complement then to my background in playing saxophone. Played a lot of jazz saxophone, and there was a sort of a jazz band called the Western Australian Youth Jazz Orchestra, and so I was a big part of that, big part of my teenage years. From then I moved across country at about 17 to Canberra to do my undergraduate studies. I studied with Min Le Hong and Tim Kane, and I did my bachelor there, and then from there I moved on to do my master's then in Germany. Yeah, so it's been a busy time for me. I'm doing a lot of touring. Here now in Australia, it's the first time that I've been in one place for more than 2 days since like 6 weeks or something. So it's nice to have a bit of, to leave my toothbrush out a little longer on the side. Had a really fantastic tour in Germany, the Netherlands and Austria through Manha de Carnaval recently, and some solo things here and there. But you know, last year it was like about 80 concerts or something last year. It was really, really big year, a lot of tours. I had a US visa, so I was really making the most of that. So I really love the touring and whatnot. And I used to do a lot more I did some teaching at university and whatnot, but it's got a bit tricky trying to be there every week. So now I do sort of teaching online through my Patreon. So that's more of a monthly flexible schedule then. And that's all complemented with, you know, doing recordings online and, you know, master classes and this sort of thing as well. And everything keeps me very busy, and I really enjoy it. It's nice to get back to Australia for a little bit. Yeah, there's so many recordings to choose from. There's definitely got to put out the Yamashita Toronto, live concert. That was sort of reinvigorated recently. My husband Jakob works for Tonebase, and he did this video for the YouTube channel, and I just, you know, hadn't listened to it for quite a while, and then recently listened to it again, and wow, just a really fantastic, inspiring recording, that both musically and technically. And then, you know, I really love the Tango Suite by the Assad brothers, Sergio and Odaia. There's a really just fantastic, so some of the first Piazzolla recordings that I listened to, and Piazzolla is obviously a big part of my inspiration of what I play. And then also, there's an album by Yamandu Costa that I listened to like 10,000 times, and that's from 2000, and that recording's like early 2000s. Mafua, I think it is. You know the one. It's a fantastic one. The move from Australia to Germany, you know, both of my experiences at university, both in Canberra and in Weimar, were very enriching. There's a lot of students that were really fantastic students that were, okay, you want to go? No? Okay. Really fantastic students, and you know, we could really motivate each other really well, I think, and that's really important to have this sort of atmosphere that is you really supporting each other at this high level, and that's sort of what I got at both of these places. And the professors, all of the professors that I had Thomas Miller pairing then in Weimar, were really fantastic teachers in the sense that they would really cater sort of to the individual of what sort of was the best way to approach how to play a piece and how to develop as a musician as well. So the move to Germany was difficult at first because I was really moving to somewhere where I didn't know anybody. There's a few students that had moved over, but they went to different parts of Germany. We weren't in the same place. And so, yeah, so it was a transition also to learn the language and whatnot, and I feel really at home there now as well. And it was in Weimar is where I met Jakob Schmidt. So we played in that quartet together, and now we do duos together. And on my South American CD, Open Sky, we played this piece, Jongo. And it's like, everyone knows Jongo. I think it's a fantastic piece, and it's a fantastic piece, a popular piece for a good reason. So I thought it would be a really great thing to have include in this program to show about my life and the life I've built with Jakob. Hope you enjoy.